In 1857, a massive steamship sailed across the Atlantic. Her name was the SS Central America. Her giant wheels pushed her forward. Hundreds of passengers traveled aboard. They carried bags and heavy trunks. The crew loaded heavy cargo below deck. Some of the cargo was made of gold. The ship carried thousands of gold coins. It also carried heavy gold bars. The treasure was hidden below the passengers. Then, the ship left the harbor. The coastline slowly disappeared behind them. At first, everything seemed peaceful. The crew watched the calm sea ahead. The officers carefully followed their route. Then, the sky began to change. Dark clouds gathered over the ocean. A dangerous storm was forming ahead. A powerful hurricane was growing. The calm ocean quickly became rough. The first large waves hit the ship. Heavy rain covered the deck. The captain ordered the crew to prepare. The sailors secured everything they could. Passengers rushed inside the ship. Many passengers began to fear the storm. Then, a gigantic wave crashed over the deck. Water rushed across the ship. Water began entering the lower decks. The crew began pumping the water out. They worked as hard as they could. Then, the ship's machinery began to fail. The engines could no longer work normally. The ship began to roll violently. Passengers struggled to remain standing. Some passengers began praying. The captain watched the waves grow higher. The storm was now stronger than the ship. Far away, another ship was searching for survivors. The rescue ship fought through the storm. At last, the rescue ship reached them. Hope finally appeared through the storm. Lifeboats moved between the two ships. Passengers climbed into the lifeboats. Children were carried away from the ship. The rescue ship pulled survivors aboard. The rescued passengers were exhausted, but many people were still aboard. The ship was becoming more dangerous. More water rushed across the deck. The crew fought to keep the ship alive. Then, an enormous wave rose behind them. The wave crashed over the entire ship. The SS Central America began to sink. Then, the ship vanished beneath the ocean. Only debris remained on the ocean. Empty lifeboats drifted across the waves. The survivors drifted across the endless ocean. The survivors were carried away from the wreck. But the SS Central America was gone. Millions of dollars in gold had sunk with the ship. The gold disappeared into the deep. The wreck rested somewhere beneath the Atlantic. News of the disaster spread across America. Everyone heard about the lost ship. But nobody knew exactly where the wreck had fallen. The ocean kept the wreck hidden. Year after year, the wreck remained lost. But people never stopped searching. Modern explorers began using new technology. Research ships searched the ocean floor. Deep-sea machines descended into the darkness. Explorers searched through the darkness. Then, sonar revealed something unusual. The explorers saw a possible wreck. A robot moved toward the mysterious object. The lights revealed an ancient ship. The lost wreck had finally been found. Explorers carefully examined the wreck. Then, they saw an old wooden box. The box was opened in the darkness. Inside were shining gold coins. The lost gold was still there. Gold bars were found inside the wreck. The treasure slowly returned to the surface. Scientists carefully studied the coins. Each coin carried a story from the past. The gold had survived the ocean for generations. A tragedy from 1857 became a modern discovery. The past had finally returned from the deep. The gold connected the present to 1857. But much of the wreck remained hidden. The ocean still held many secrets. Dark rooms still waited inside the wreck. Some old crates were still buried. Explorers searched beneath the sediment. Then, another golden reflection appeared. More gold was hidden beneath the sand. The treasure was larger than expected. The discovery shocked the explorers. A tiny coin had survived a massive disaster. The ship had carried the gold into darkness. For over a century, one coin waited in the dark. Then, Human eyes finally saw it again. The past and present met beneath the ocean. The recovered treasure returned to the surface. People could finally see the lost gold. Each coin told part of the ship's story. But the story began with a ship at sea. It ended with the ocean taking everything. The ship still rests beneath the waves. Its broken remains still lie in darkness. The ocean has slowly covered the wreck. Some treasures may still remain hidden. The deep ocean is still full of secrets. The SS Central America became a legend. One coin can survive a century of darkness. But the ocean can destroy even a great ship. One storm changed everything. And the ocean never gave the ship back. But more than a century later, the wreck was found. The lost gold finally returned to the light. The gold remembered the ship that carried it. Once, the ship sailed proudly across the sea. Then, one hurricane sent her into history. Today, her story still sleeps beneath the waves. And the ocean may still be hiding more. Because the ocean never reveals all its secrets. Somewhere in the darkness, the past may still be waiting.